F2 said I have about a year left to live here in total, and it explained to me why my carbon rebate check was canceled. It's because it's already in the system that I footnoted and have so many inventions and have so much investments uh, that it automatically voided the need of a carbon check, so making me even more poor than usual because I only live on my disability. I don't have access to my other account, my business account yet. I don't have the card. GTF2 is holding the card for me. And basically, I would only have about a year left to live here because A, I will be taxed. B, my rent will go up based on my salary. I'm paying 30% of my salary to stay here. So I would have only about a year to live here, or unless I would end up, you know, the fight is going well. Things are going well, so I'm not too worried about it. But I would have to be out of here by the end of a whole year. I would have about a year left to live here. They said, and based on everything, no matter what, they can always bring me my card in person. There's some people in town, right? They did mention, without naming anybody, Tuan, I have a few members close by who can always help you watching over you in town no matter what, so we can actually, do something and help you. It's just right now we need to do this battle for you. That's what they said for me, right? Because, you know, and on top of it, I took the cab to go to the reserve to get smokes, and on the cab the walkie-talkie, you know what I mean. Uh, I heard the lady dispatcher say the government warned her to tell the taxi driver to please do it quick and make sure I get home safe and fast because I was already shot before, and whatever was said on TV and the internet was true. So that's what I heard over, and the guy went like, you know what I mean? I would not stress too much about it, but thanks government, thanks for GTF2 for that. I appreciate it. It was apparently displayed on TV this morning that I was previously shot in the head as a baby. They just mentioned it a little later to me. Uh, you know. So yeah, I apparently survived a gunshot to the head. I have proof, right? Well, almost. You can almost see. But I would have proof anyways. I had a dot in my on my forehead when I was a kid, and I had it. What it looked like a birthmark. I don't know if it's still there, but it showed that where I got shot. You know, it's not apparent as much, but I had a birthmark on my forehead, and on top of it, one of my uh, one of my eyebrows had. I think it's this one. I had a scar that was showing. It's not showing as much because the hair grew a lot thicker. Sorry, just a little boot on. But yeah, apparently I was punched as well, so bad that it did a cut all across my eyebrow when I was a baby. So I would be curious to see this video if and GTF2 said they have a record of it and they have the proof that I was shot in the head as a baby because they would have a report done that they found me dead under a different name, maybe under a different name, but they would have found my body in a trash can somewhere, and I had a gunshot to the head. So who found my body then? GTF2 came to my rescue twice. They said I was kidnapped twice, but the second time or somewhere along the lines, I got shot in the head. That GTF2 said all you need to know is you survive a gun wound, you survive a gunshot to the head, you regenerated while you were in the morgue. They started to hear a baby cry. They started to hear you cry while you were in the freezer. And they opened the freezer and they found you alive, still alive. And they said technically the bullet is still in your brain. That's why sometimes some detectors go off, like at Walmart at the door, detecting something in my body. I guess that's possibly why. I freak electronics because I literally got a bullet lodged in my brain. And it would possibly even show it on X-ray if they got the right angle. or would have been dissolved by my system. It would have been eliminated entirely. Would have melted it with my fission, possibly. I don't know, or just got mixed with my fission, dissolve it and mix it with my own blood. I don't know. I kind of wanted to see this video. They said, fair warning, could be graphic for you. I want to see it. I haven't seen it. When it's time, when it's proper, I want to see this video of me getting shot in the head. What I want to see what I looked like as a baby. I want to see how bad I was molested. I want to see how bad I was mistreated. For crying out loud, I know I'm gonna probably puke because gross, that's me, you know. And that they would have been distributed on the black market, copied and distributed on the black market, right? To pervs and to creeps and all over the world, apparently hiding. You might, on current servers on the dark web, you might actually be able to see me getting shot. Some people might have actually seen me getting shot in the head. They didn't see me survive. They see me die. I regenerated at the morgue. But I would have an official report done that I was dead under a different name. My original name. That's why I had to live under a fake identity. I was so much in danger. They shot me. For crying out loud, people in town are already talking about it. They saw it on TV this morning. They said that we can't believe this guy actually and ended up through so much hell. He got shot in the head as a baby. There was 3 girls at the store in town, and they were all like, "Oh my God, he really did get shot. Look at him. That's him. We saw it on TV, right? They said he got shot." You hear people talking while they shop or fake shopping if they know where you hang out. People in town know of me. They saw me on TV. Oh, and yeah, JTF2 said, by the way, that all people in Edmonton did see on TV Christine. So thank you. That's good. They said they did see Christine in town, and they're all very proud of you. That's why at the bar they were all ecstatic and proud of me. They saw me at the bar and they were like, they were all talking about me. That's why they did see Christine. GTF2 wanted me to make a public announcement, but it was already done on TV. So yeah, yeah, fun. For starters, GTF2 would have researched why did I regenerate, and be working in the background anyways. It would have discovered mostly the fission anyways, all by themselves. They would have basically made some discoveries. I only solidified it and turned it into a legal machine, right? That's all it is. They would have made discoveries on how I regenerated, or at least check my blood, right? So, anyways, so there you go. You England people would shoot a native baby in the head, even if he's your king, after molesting him and putting him on a tape to sell to creeps all over the world on the dark web, and you dare keep making a mockery of me. No. I honestly don't care anymore. People are so cruel to shoot a baby in the head after raping him just because he was a native, stealing him from his mother and father. GTF2 did say, your father did cry a lot. How did they keep kidnapping me from my parents? Where were they? What did happen? They don't want to tell me all the details because it's so horrifying, you know? They just tell me what I need to know as I go along and what they're telling people on the TV, right? But I did regenerate. So that's why they're not even worried about me. That's why I'm not surrounded by guards, or they have a few members nearby just in case I need help with something. I like 22. She's a friend of mine. Uh, and she just helps me out sometimes, you know. Uh, but they said there are other members in town, and we'll be in touch. We'll tell you when it's time to move on. But you have about a year to stay here at the most. So, oh, and we're not sure 100%, but our dinosaur park may be outside Calgary or around Calgary or close Calgary, or possibly in the middle of the states. We're not sure. Anywhere where there would be a water source, and we have to figure out where to build this halo, and we have to start mining. So and mined in India. So we'll be hiring a lot of people. Jeff just said there will be a lot of postings on job banks websites in North America. It's both for Inchem and Incor to work together and 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 we have to outright build or buy machinery, right, to do this. So it's all worth it though. I'm gonna fund these investments. I'm gonna create jobs. Basically, like GTF2 said, you did footnote a lot actually. And, you keep generating footnotes, and therefore, you will create a lot of employment, no matter what. What England is doing is a big joke to Canada. They keep shooting themselves in the foot. GTF2 said I blocked them in the middle. That's what I did today by, explaining the silos that I could do. Uh, so